Hi everyone, welcome to the Jam in a Jar video blog. Today's topic is all about building the ultimate live performing keyboard rig. Let's take a look. The first thing you'll notice is that I use two different keyboards. This is mainly due to my playing preference. The bottom is a Roland RD64. It has a weighted action which is ideal for playing acoustic and electric piano sounds. The Roland has its own internal sounds as well, but I never use them. I only use it as a MIDI controller. Its weighted action is reasonable, but it has the benefit of portability at only 64 notes long and not weighing too much. I've had issues in the past with 88-note controllers, once in a flight case, being too heavy for airline regulations to check as luggage when flying. For all other sounds, an unweighted action is preferable, which is covered by the top keyboard, a Novation 61SL Mark II. For an unweighted action, the Novation is first class, and it also has some other essential features which I'll get to later. You'll notice I have an iPad sitting up there as well. It does two things for me. Most of the time it's simply a chart reader, but if I need it to, it becomes the screen and controller of my sound engine, which is an Apple Mac Mini computer, quad-core with 16 gig of RAM, running Apple MainStage software to host my virtual instruments. MainStage for me is the ultimate platform for a live performing keyboard player. Why? For the sound quality of the virtual instruments it hosts and also for its functionality and usability. Even back in the 1990s when computers were first becoming fast enough to support virtual instruments, the improvements in sound quality and detail of those virtual instruments compared to the available emulations at the time in hardware keyboards was noticeable, really noticeable. And that remains as it was, in my view. Both have made improvements, but the virtual instruments have a sound quality edge. Also, MainStage's ability to manage splits and layers and controller assignments, including multiple assignments to the one hardware control, and do it all on a patch-by-patch basis. That level of functionality is unparalleled. The downside to using MainStage is that it takes more setting up. But the biggest negative in my view is that most users run it on a laptop computer, with the computer sitting up next to the performer on the stage, mainly for the visual feedback from the screen to be able to drive the system properly. On a rocking live stage, that's a terrible, dangerous and unprotected place for a laptop to live, and visually I don't think it looks very cool either. But if you have the computer positioned away in a safer area, you lose your visual feedback. That's not a huge problem, just as long as your on-stage MIDI controllers receive MIDI feedback messages from MainStage to let you know what's going on back at the controller. The problem here, though, is that while there are a number of studio-based controllers that receive text and MIDI data feedback from recording software, there are hardly any MIDI keyboard controllers designed for performance that offer this functionality. And if they do, the text and controller feedback often uses a closed proprietary system that the software you want to use won't even support natively. I feel manufacturers are missing a great commercial opportunity here to build their controllers with generally better keyboard actions and feedback-capable knobs, buttons and faders, and an open-source way of allowing simple MIDI messages to write text to the onboard LCDs. So in addition to liking its keyboard action, it's for all those other reasons that I've also ended up using the Novation SL61 Mark II. It has the ability to receive text updates to its LCD screen and MIDI controller feedback updates to its knobs, buttons and faders, so every time you change patches, you know the exact state and function assignment for every hardware control. It is one of the very, very few MIDI controllers on the market that can do all of that. I know some can do some of it, but not all of that. The downside to Novation's feedback system is that to access its feedback capabilities, you must use Novation's AutoMap software, which sits as a layer in the MIDI signal flow in between MainStage and the hardware controller. AutoMap is stable, mature software. It works well. But given that MainStage can do most of what AutoMap does, it's a shame Novation have not seen fit to allow a simple MIDI feedback scheme to the controller using standard MIDI messages without AutoMap being in use. There are some deeper technicalities on that topic. I'll get into that later. If you look across the internet, you will see many users trying to work out a solution to this conundrum, a headless MainStage rig. That is a computer without a screen with controller and text feedback on the hardware controller. So from this video, hopefully you can see that I've figured out how to do it well. In my next video, I'm going to get in depth with it all and show you how I do it. Thanks for listening.